All right, now to an honest question. How would you grade last night's debate, and would you like to see more of these debates in the future? Joining us now, Fox News contributor Joe Concha. He would be a great media show host, along with the co-host of The Five, Jessica Tarlov. Good to see you both. Jessica, let's start with you. Coming from the left, what did you think of last night?
Well, I was first and foremost thrilled to see it. I think it's an important conversation to be having. I think Gavin Newsom is probably the best surrogate that Joe Biden has out there. So obviously I want him front and center, ready to shine. And Ron DeSantis really needed this moment. He's faded away in the GOP debates. He obviously feels like he has a lot of ground to make up for. And Gavin Newsom certainly threw that in his face. I thought one of the best lines that he had was about, how's that working out for you? You're 41 points behind Donald Trump in your home state. But I love the fact-based questions. You know how much I enjoy using data and numbers, and I think it was net a benefit for both men. But the California governor was definitely my winner since he had nothing to lose, first of all, and I don't think Ron DeSantis moved the needle and got himself any closer to Donald Trump.
I don't think, but it wasn't really about presidential politics, and we were very clear about it. It was about their governing
DeSantis
philosophy in their states. Well, I mean, in a sense, he kind of took a break from that, but I understand your point. Joe, let's get your take.
Well, a few takeaways, Sean. For starters, this was an unprecedented political and television event that you and your staff executed on. We've never seen two governors from two different parties, from two major states, go head-to-head on a national stage like this, and they're not even running against each other. So this will go down as one of the highest-rated cable news events of the year. You had stiff competition, NFL football featuring the Cowboys, Golden Bachelor on ABC, which is profoundly awkward to watch, but that's a story for another time. So the hope here is that we see these kinds of debates more in the future. I mean, who wouldn't want to see? Jessica would love to see this. I know you would. Glenn Youngkin, Virginia versus Gretchen Whitmer, Michigan, or Greg Abbott, Texas, Republican versus Kathy Hochul, New York, because the contrast couldn't be any more stark between red and blue states. And give Governor Newsom credit. He did what very few Democrats have an appetite to do lately, and that is debate. But Newsom showed up. The problem he had was he didn't show up with very much in the way of facts or truth behind him, because to defend the state of California is to defend the indefensible. He argued, for example, that California doesn't have one of the highest tax rates in the country. Well, of course it does, while Florida has one of the lowest tax rates. Newsom argued that DeSantis was somehow a lockdown governor. I mean, that's some great unintentional comedy right there, because Newsom was literally the face of lockdowns throughout 2020, 2021, even into 2022, all while breaking his own mask mandates time and again. So overall, the night belonged to DeSantis. I think he won by TKO. He came prepared. He came impassioned. He showed what he can do in a one-on-one format. The question is that Jessica rightly asked, will this have any impact as far as his presidential campaign and closing that secretariat-like gap with Donald Trump?
Well, I mean, I guess we'll find out soon. When you look at the facts, and Jessica, we spent a lot of time fact-checking everything and getting everything right on all the issues that matter. If it's gas prices, if it's taxes, if it's homelessness, if it's crime, all of those issues, why are these big states experiencing these higher rates and worse numbers than red states? Why are people in droves leaving New York, New Jersey, Illinois, California? Why are they going to red states like Texas, Florida, Tennessee, and the Carolinas? How do you explain it?
Well, it's about tax rates. That's how I would explain it. The tax rate is lower. That's something that was obviously a very prominent issue during COVID, especially because in blue states.
If you're chasing people away, why don't you fix what's making them angry and keep them?
Well, I think that a lot of blue state governors, Gavin Newsom included, are trying to do that. He has been much more open in discussing the homelessness issue when he was in San Francisco, not
He's
this
in
last
his second
trip
term.
When Xi Jinping visited. Well, first of all, these are deep-seated, long-term problems. They don't get fixed in 20 minutes. And I'm acknowledging that there are issues with it. But there was so much that was on the side.
In 4 years? Are you saying that was not doable?
Certainly not to bring himself anywhere near. I mean,
or crime?
Well, dealt with homelessness. Where is there not a homelessness problem? There's a homelessness problem in Florida. Ron DeSantis doesn't want to talk about it. I thought Gavin Newsom was brilliant to bring up what goes on with gun violence.
If you look at when we look at the FBI statistics, and we'll put that up on the screen if you want as well, if you compare Florida to California and then compare it to the national average, the FBI says there's twice as much, murder, rape, robberies going on in California on a percentage basis. That's a homeless population difference there. It's dramatic, 172,000 and 26,000. On the FBI side of it, I mean, those numbers couldn't be any more clear. It's 258, I believe, per 100,000, if my memory serves me well, and double that in California and way above the national average. I mean, let me bring Joe in. Joe, I want to be fair to you, too.
They do, and the images on our screens that we see out of San Francisco and Los Angeles and Sacramento, they also speak volumes, and we don't see as much of that out of the Miamis and Tampas of the world. And I think it would be wise for a Donald Trump or whoever the GOP nominee is, Sean, to point directly to California or Illinois or New York and say, if you want the rest of the country to emulate their economies, their budget deficits, their crime rates, their educational standards, or lack thereof, and their sanctuary cities, then by all means, vote for Joe Biden, because that's exactly what this administration wants. And it's hard to see what Democrats could run on in 2024 outside of abortion and vote for us to save democracy or something. So, yeah, if it's an issues-based campaign and all those issues that you brought up last night, economy, immigration, border, poverty, homelessness, crime, it's going to be a hard argument for Democrats to make.
Yeah, I think, all right.
But the economy is a perfect example. I mean, Gavin Newsom talking about Bidenomics, pointing out that Ron DeSantis himself, and it's on Twitter, he posted about it, he received $28 million from the CHIPS Act. You have Lauren Boebert, Nancy Mace, Tommy Tuberville have all publicly humiliated themselves after they voted against all of these policies, and then they're excited to get the cash from it. And you almost made Ron DeSantis cry with that abortion question. That 6-week ban will be his downfall.
All right. Thank you both. Appreciate it.